Hey y'all, what's good? It's been a minute since I came on here and went live with y'all. I have been going live on my YouTube channel, Hoodoo Heritage Spiritual Collective, okay? And that's where I'm doing spiritual readings for the Black community. Woo! I'm so excited. I just transitioned over to that about a week ago. And it was like just in time for Hoodoo Heritage Month. I was like, wow, the ancestors literally led me here. Because, it had nothing, I didn't know about Hoodoo Heritage Month until I decided I wanted to put the name Hoodoo and Heritage in my, as my title of my YouTube page, and just focus on spiritual readings for the Black community because we need them. And I know that a lot of established readers, a lot of my favorites are Black, but I can tell in their readings, like, they're trying to keep it neutral, but like that they have something to say, okay? And I'm just glad, I just have to say I'm grateful that I'm new enough to or not so much I'm new enough because I've been doing this a long time, but that I haven't grown that big of a community to where I can do whatever I want. Like, I no longer feel like my supporters. It's like, it's still just me and the camera right now. So I can be whoever I want to be. And I just love that freedom. Okay. And I have never felt such a calling, like it was the right thing to do in my life. Okay, I love it so much. I love my people. I am for us. Okay, I'm for us. I want to see us restore. I want to see us be restored physically, mentally, spiritually. Okay, I want our physical environment and our bodies to be optimal health. I want to see us heal from the trauma of what we've done to each other under white supremacy, and also what we've experienced from white supremacy, and offering that healing to our ancestors through us, as well as returning to self spiritually, returning back to the true I'm going to use the word worship, but I don't know if that's what I want to really use. Hey, Anthony, and welcome to the live. Okay. Returning back to our true spiritual practices in alignment with nature. Okay. So that is what I am for. And so I wrote some key points, though, that I want to talk about. I just feel like I want to talk them out with you all, so that I can even have the idea fully formulated within. Okay. And so our Hoodoo Heritage, let's start. What is Hoodoo Heritage? Damn it, I left it in my phone. I did not write it down. 5 principles of Hoodoo Heritage. Okay, so number 1 principle is belief in God. No matter who you call him, belief in a higher power, period. Okay? And I feel like that's pretty universal. I know that some of us have expanded or on the idea and don't, what's the term? Project their God outside of them. That's not even the word. Hey, Jamal, welcome. Some people see themselves as God, higher self. I just really feel like it's just so much. Like, it's so much to try to understand or trying to articulate. It's like 2 things can be true at the same time type energy. Okay. Like, it could be outside of us and within us. It's okay, is what I'm trying to go with that. Okay. The second one is veneration for our ancestors. Okay. And remembering I heard all of their suffering, right? But I don't want to put it just on that. Just remembering who we are, where we come from, and be able to draw strength from that. And that it's like, that's how we keep spirit alive. Like, we don't know what happens on the other side, but what we do know is that energy never dies. Okay. And that the spirit of our ancestors are still living. And some of them could even still be in pain, wandering, not even knowing, you know, or stuck. Okay. And when we speak to them, when we say their names, they get energy and are able to interact with the physical world that they're not in anymore. And that just is, there's so much power in that, because it is us. You know, it is our blood. Okay. Okay, principle 3. In tune and honor for the elements. Okay, earth, wind, fire, and water. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm kind of forgetting number 4, and I apologize. I wonder if I go. Hey, number 4 was our roots. I'm so glad I went over there to look. Number 4 is our roots. Okay. Working the roots, working the earth. That is part of who we are. Our herbal remedies, as well as producing food. That is part of the culture. Okay. And number 5 is love for self. Okay, and community. So we work on ourselves so much, we take care of ourselves so much that it literally spills out into the community. You know, it comes from our overflow. And so that self-care is essential for our people. And I was thinking about, like, that's why we be looking so good. Okay, there's a few reasons why we be looking so good, but that is why we should keep, like, something that I felt is I don't wear like makeup, and I don't always have my hair right, and I be just coming on here looking crazy. Okay. I be coming on here natural, because my gift is not about my appearance, right? I'm plain face on the camera, same way that I would be in real life, right? But I was telling my daughter, I was like, you can't just show up looking any old kind of way for Black people. Like, you can't just, just show up any old kind of way, okay? We will have thoughts about why you come on here on this camera. I like what you're saying, but I'm distracted by you. and I was like, that's part of the culture, is looking good, okay? I wanted to mention that part of our excellence, okay, comes from the extreme adversity that we were always under. So it's like, you had to make sure that you were, because remember, we have to do twice the work to get half the credit. So where everybody else is just dressed regular, you got to come looking good, smelling good, jewelry on, showing that you're, you know, projecting your worth, right? Because of the extreme adversity of white supremacy, especially for our ancestors in the past. You know, everybody keeps saying that slavery ended in 1865, something like that, right? But then there was Jim Crow laws for 90 years. That is almost 100. Like, stop playing. And that Jim Crow did not stop until the civil rights movement in the 60s. Yeah, definitely in the 60s. So that was only, I always have to subtract from 2000. Okay. So like, let's say 60, I wanted to say it was 67, but let's just say 65. Okay. So 45 years plus 25 years. Okay. 70 years from civil rights, where then Black people, you're not allowed to just kill Black people for them stepping out of line. Okay. Or, you know, having an attitude, feeling good for themselves. Right? I heard a story about us having to go, like the saying barrel of laughs, our people we weren't allowed to laugh in public, y'all. We were not allowed to laugh. And this is after slavery, during Jim Crow, okay? We had to go, they had a laughing barrel, I guess. So if a Negro wanted to laugh, they had to hold it and then go to the laugh and then put their face in the barrel to have a laugh. That's mad weird, okay? Like, and it's all about disrespect, you know? And it's like, how do you disrespect somebody who you let breastfeed your baby? You see, it doesn't make any sense. And we were born into the oppression, so, you know, our parents taught us how to survive. You know, it's like, don't get killed by massa, because that motherfucker crazy, he will kill you. You know what I'm saying? And so listen, be good, be good, shh. You know, and that's where a lot of that comes from. You know, it was from our self-protection. So when white people be like, oh, you don't have to be so strict on your kid. Oh, you know, kids are supposed to play, right? I'm not necessarily disputing that, but you have to understand, as a Black person, the reason why we have to keep our children in line is because they are judged twice as much. Okay, so my kid running around, all of a sudden he needs medication. Okay, all of a sudden, you know, I need to be looked into. And that is where that energy comes from. It's because it was for self-preservation and protection. Our Black excellence is actually born through the adversity, because you have to be perfect just to be accepted. And you know what? For that, I'm going to say thank you. Because look how high, look how far, okay? Look how amazing we are when we shine. Okay? Now, the problem with the way the world is now in general is we're very out of tune with nature, and that's why this whole thing needs to be deconstructed. It's because we're completely out of alignment with nature. We can't just keep destroying the earth. That's not going to work. You know, it's disrespectful for the fact that the earth literally yields food, shelter, clothing, literally grows from the ground if you pray over it, if you're kind to it, if you speak to it. All these things scientifically proven that plants grow better when you're loving, okay? So we're destroying the earth. We can't do that just because the white man wants to. And you like it how it is. You know? And that is why things are moving. That's why we have favor in our cause for delineation and sovereignty. Delineation is a new word for me. Basically, but it just really means defining exactly and setting borders around. That's what when I looked it up, as far as a definition, it had a lot to do with borders and boundaries, the actual word. And, but what as it applies to Black people, we now have the foundational Black Americans, as a title for our people. And through the process of delineation, we can claim sovereignty for our people and truly be liberated and free. Because, and that might be frightening to a lot of people, some people. Exciting for some, frightening for others, right? Everybody in between. Because it's kind of like having to start over. It's a different way of life, but it is going to be so worth it in the long run. We can build something and leave something for our children that they can take further. And I feel like based on who we have proven to ourselves that we are, proven to ourselves and to the world who we are, we can rebuild. Never mind the fact that we had already built it and that our ancient, it's already in the blood, right? We have also built in this same land where our ancestors' blood has been spilled, and we still built, we still created, we still innovated. Everything that we enjoy today. And so we will still be those people. And while we, millennials, are still got the energy, we can still get fit real quick. Okay? We can still, we can still do some shit, okay? We need to do it. Because our kids, the younger generation, they're feisty, go Gen Z, okay? But we're like that bridge because we still remember the old days. We still had before the internet. And we know what they taught us in school. We know how they made us feel. We can talk about our experiences with white supremacy, even in a after racism world. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we need to set the tone for the future for our kids and our nation as the foundational Black Americans. It kind of has a nice ring to it. I think it's some foundational includes us before colonization, okay? Which would also include pre, even though there's a lot of evidence showing that America is the motherland. But that's another conversation. Or at least from moving on, I want to make my points. Sovereignty. Ultimately, I feel like we need sovereignty because it has been proven over and over, case study, that we're not safe around them, especially not living and thriving. Oh, and then we get a gift, we get our reparations. They've already bombed us. Okay. They treated us terribly while we served them. They created laws to restrict us from being great. Why do you think that they would allow us to be great and pay us? And be like, hey, and you can't arrest us because we sovereign. Hell nah. So I think that along with our, package, is sovereignty, is separation, and then some people, it doesn't have to be forced. Like some people, if you feel more comfortable over there, fine. Do it. Enjoy. We'll see you later. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't have to be, and if you are of another nation, you gotta be, married in, basically. Either married in or the mother of, something like that. So, but, because we could make the world a better place. The way that we're living, it doesn't have to be this way. There's the whole system needs to be scrapped because it's built on violence against our people. So that's why we need to be okay with just like, okay, let's get our sovereignty. Thank you. Okay. But it's built on violence and lies. Like the whole system is built on lies. even with, you know, the social media back and forth, as we talk about being the indigenous people in the land, it's a lot of laughter and a whole lot of Google search, Google blurb saying, nah, it ain't no Negroes was here before. We ain't had no scientific evidence of that. Fuck their scientific evidence, okay? They fabricated an entire fucking system. They fabricated all of history. But it makes sense because someone had to write it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, of course they're going to write it the way they want it to be told. Right? But you have to understand that anything that's man-made is man-made. So somebody had to create it. And that goes for our future as well. We get to write what our future is too. We also get to be the say of what we experienced. Okay? And who we are. So we can include all our favorite parts. Okay? And pass that on to our children. So they can have strength and a place to say thank you for their mighty strength in life. Stride for life. And have value for self. So they treat their self well. So they treat their brother, their sister well. So it's essential that we get ourselves in an energy of caring about these types of things and passing that on to our kids. You know, showing them by example, like how amazing we are as a people, so they can have the strength to compete, which I hate that word or whatever, but we do live in a capitalistic society. Okay? I have gratitude out here. Okay, before I move on to this other deck. Gratitude is what flipped out. All that card shuffling I did, it's the only thing I pulled. You know? So, reverence. Look at all of who's on this card, though. It includes Egyptian heritage. Okay? And we got the cannabis leaf. And we got this almost like, it's giving Greek-looking god, but she black, right? Truths. Okay? And we got someone who looks modern day. Okay? Based on her hair and clothes. Right? So all intertwined. We're all of those things. You know, we are the ancients and we are the foundational Black Americans. You know, and being a foundational Black American is something that we can be so proud of. Because, look, in the last 70 years since Jim Crow, look at all that we've accomplished. We even got a Black president. Okay? Blah, 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 blah about what type of Black. Okay? But it resembled what it needed to resemble. You know what I'm saying? And considering that we came from a place, we are interacting, we are integrated with a people who literally acted like we weren't human and taught their children that we weren't human and taught their children it was okay to disrespect an old woman because she was Black. How low of a people you have to be to make your whole foundation of saying we're better than those people. Not we're great at this, we're great at that. We're great at this, we're great at that. No, we're better than them. They have to do it for us. But then you never learn the skill, you know? And when you do, you're late. And you don't give any credit to where it's due. That doesn't mean you're the inventor of it. Doesn't make it right just because you can. Because the society says that you can rape and pillage. So back to us. Because with this North Node energy, okay, don't underestimate Mother Nature. Never say never. I lightweight even feel like I'm seeing a map. See, I was like, is this a boat? Right? Look, a boat, a map. Okay? Never noticed that. Look. This blimp right here. What's the other? Hot air balloon. Okay, that's giving me Dorothy, Wizard in Oz energy. Sun, that's giving me like solar flare. Okay, because I heard there's supposed to be a solar flare or whatever. And so what I heard is that they was going to do a fake solar flare and cut out the power. But that the chosen ones, we were going to like know that it was fake because something about the frequency. But then there is supposed to be a real solar flare, and that we would know the difference is basically what I'm saying. So if the power get cut and it don't feel like it's God, okay, just feel like these niggas playing. If it feels like that, they are. So if it, just like all these false flags we've been getting, okay? The sun energy. So reiterating the sun is on our side, okay? So that theory is correct. Okay, all the time we be talking shit, be like, that's why your ass from the burn it. Like, they don't want to talk about climate change because there's nothing they can do. You know, and they don't want people to panic. And if we really talk about it, it's going to say exactly that. Like, we might want to run into caves. They might have to run into some damn caves. You know? Flow. The fire, water, okay? Let it flow, though. How do fire and water interact with each other? So this one says essence and energy, self-aware, life force. This one says harmonize, aid. So it's an aid. So yeah, the sun, the water is absorbed by the sunlight. For sure. That's why people set their tea out, or just set their water and be like, this is my sun water, because it gets charged up. And I don't know, I'm hearing like something about electrons and da-da-da. So maybe that's how it like gives you energy. Mars taking action. So you're going to have to really be bold and go for it. We just need to continue to be bold. Okay, and take action. Okay, so that's what Spirit is like. Okay, like the knockout type energy. Okay, yay. Okay, thank you, Spirit. Okay, so like, guys, it's like, yeah, get your fitness up. Be ready. Okay, y'all gonna have to teach me how to fight. Okay. And the lipstick, because my thing is, it's just like, girl, don't just be looking crazy in front of the black people. Make sure you look good. Make sure that you go, not just look good, but like go hard, come correct. It's important, right? So taking action, training, and like really showing up as that higher level being. You know how it's just like, you know, you're great or whatever. You know, you got this greatness within, but not everybody fucking deserves that energy. So you just show up kind of regular, you know, like, nah, start showing up as excellent. This is our time to really shine, and it's going to be infectious to one another. Each one teach one, also each one looking like, you know, they got some sense, makes another person want to look like they do too, you know? We need to let this positive energy rub off on each other. Give compliments, smile, nod, you know. Sometimes we just feel, I don't know, you don't want to be bothered in general. It doesn't even have to do with the color of the skin, right? But even when you're in those, just say hello to your brother and sister. As our peoples would say, it's a sign of respect. a lot of the shit that we were taught, now that I'm like thinking about, like, you need to speak to everybody who walks in the room. Well, yeah, because if you don't, massa might be fucking offended. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so a lot of that comes from us being in service. So I don't know, we'll have to decide what to do about that. But it's okay to have manners. It's kind of what the energy's coming through. It's like the ancestors are kind of like, there's nothing wrong with having manners. It's the problem was in them not treating us with the same respect. So that's what the problem was. It was never a problem to say please and thank you. So okay. So we probably taught them that. Hey, and welcome. The boss. So definitely, like, it's time to boss up on all that shit. Whatever it is that your skill is, do it. There's no more of this. If you need time for meditation and you need to grow, hey, totally understood. The community will be ready for you when you are, because remember, we have to fill up our own cup. So you might be at a place where it's like, I'm so cumbersome, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even think straight. So, like, get yourself into a place where you can think straight. You know, take care of you first. Okay? Family, take care of you first. Before you try to be like, Black Power, you know? try to, you know, take care of you first. And don't be ashamed of that. Okay? Because everybody gets tired. And so, like, when it's time for one person to take their break, it'll be your time to go. And it'll be like, thank God. You know, and then they'll be watching you and be edified like, man, let me get back out there. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we need each other like that. And people of other nations, if it resonates, it resonates. Okay? You know, if you're like, I need to do that for me, please do. We are for everybody loving themselves because it makes the world safer. Okay? We are, you know, and we're not even talking about this in the nation, the United States. We're not even talking about the truth of, hey, mental health is an issue. Stress is an issue. What can we do to help reduce the stress and mental health issues? Where are the underlying cause of the psychopathic shit? Why is all the men narcissists? Like, how can we address these actual issues? You know, because I agree that guns don't kill people. People kill people. I definitely agree with that. So why are the people killing? Let's address the issue. Why? Okay? If we want to have conversations like that, right? Or if we really want to see something happen, let's address mental health issues. Let's address children and raising them so we're not abusing them. Okay, and then having rehabilitation for people who have been abused and taking that type of shit serious. Putting money into meditative and holistic things that don't even cost money. Herbs that heal your body naturally as well as can calm you down. Okay? Talk about how exercise is a way of life. It's not just for fat people. It's for all people who want to have mental health calmness. Talk about how stretching matters. Like, let's talk about these simple initiatives if we want to put some shit into the fucking system that I hate. Okay? Okay, if we wanted to keep that thing going, we can even add value there. Something else about our sovereignty is that we're more valuable to the U.S. as sovereign beings. Because then we could create things and do whatever trade, you know? We could really, like, actually trade off some shit. If that's what we want to do, if we want to keep fucking with our enemy. You know? So, yes. The Queen of Wands. Hell yeah. I'm sorry, but Black Queen. Okay, that's how we dress. All to the nines. Yeah, Four of Wands. Okay, so I was gonna say matriarch. So Black Queen rising. Black Queen rising, Four of Wands is stabilizing that energy. That generational energy. Four is like the house. Okay, Seven of Cups. Lots of choices. So Black woman, beware of your choices. Hold yourself to a higher standard. We were just talking about that excellence, you know. So we need to like boss up on our own personal self-disciplines. You know what I mean? The food, the exercise, the men, the things that we watch on TV, like just all that whole package. Just self-improvement. I mean, like what the Black Power movement is self-improvement, spiritual elevation, ascension, spiritual ascension. Isn't that what what's his face was talking about? Mavlaw, hierarchy, whatchamacallit, Pavlov, is that him? Pavlov's dog. But is he the one who made the whole thing about self-actualization? The thing about it is that the only way you're going to self-actualize is if you're focused on yourself. Okay? So just making really good choices, making really healthy choices, divine choices with the 7 energy. With that King of Pentacles, yeah, he got them pentacles. So yeah, the Queen of Wands and the King of Pentacles. Hey, let's go. Because the King of Pentacles, you know, aside from his financial stability, right? He's stable in his mind. He's grounded. He knows what he wants. He has a plan. Whew, it's getting hot in here. It's getting hot. Okay. Not to mention this is a diamond. Okay. So yeah, very well looking, very good looking, like smelling good, being having an understanding of his diet as well with the natural grounded energy. So, and the Queen of Wands, she's hot. She's hot, baby. She's hot. She's excited. She's like, yes. She's like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? And meets the King of Pentacles. Okay, so just make good choices. Okay. We can go back and forth with this energy here. Masculine and feminine energy. That's kind of my specialty. Masculine and feminine energy. And I have a really good grasp of twin flame science. And when I apply that to the Black man and the Black woman, baby, like, that is where the superpowers are at, okay? So yeah, the masculine and feminine energy, it's giving me like she's the table, make a choice, masculine, make a choice of the table. Like when they be like, what are you bringing to the table? It's like she is the table and he's choosing the table. I mean, that with this 4 of Wands, okay, that's giving me 4 walls, 4 table legs. Okay, that's why I'm giving you that like that. But yeah, and he's the water, the love. Aw. So it's actually the masculine energy bringing in the love energy. So divine feminine, it's really essential for you to kind of like just stay focused on yourself and what you're building. as a woman, and this masculine energy is going to be like, I just really like watching her do her thing, like, or I want to help her, because don't just watch her work, but okay, yeah. But it's like, stay focused on yourself, ladies, and let them come towards you with this cup of love energy, okay? Or show you what is here, what give you some choices, because Seven of Cups is all about choices, options. Okay, let me not go on there, because I know the black woman and the black man are still sensitive. You know, I don't want y'all to be like, okay? I don't want to be too right. We're going to pull one more from here, but I want to switch. It's a revolution, baby, and this is the revolution. With this, so you know I'm not lying. And Uranus, I think is how you're supposed to say it. I don't know if it gets any better. But is Aquarius energy. It's the age of Aquarius. That's why this is all happening, because we're in the age of Aquarius. So that's why it's so clear, and that's why it's, you know, it's so funny, because I know a lot of us have that energy within us where it's like, we were like waiting for something like this, you know, waiting for some sort of change in regards to everyday life, I think. If I could put it the simplest, nicest way, without saying we were waiting for the end of the world, okay? Like, it's really just a transition. I don't really think that I don't feel like there's any point in fearing, because we don't know the day or the hour, and we don't know the outcome. So all we can do is just hope for the best, and then whatever happens, happens, and we'll be in our highest form. So if something changes dramatically, we'll be okay with it. Discipline. So now is the time to really like discipline self, better self, okay? I feel like, you know, ain't nothing changed but the title of the video. Ain't nothing changed. We still need to do better, okay? And black people ain't never had no problem with saying we need discipline and to change and to work on ourselves. We know the type of problems that we have in our community, and a lot of them are similar to the ones in everybody else's community. Everybody got their crazy person, okay? Everybody got their pedophile, okay? But I think that's something that can be X'd out through village life, okay? But, you know, we have things to fucking work on. It's personal discipline, though. People won't be worried about other things when they're worried about themselves. You know, they're not worried about harming the next person or meddling or causing a problem or being jealous. You don't even feel feelings of jealousy when you're working. When you got something to work on, you don't feel jealous. You feel proud of other people. Yes, that shit actually does exist. Okay? So you need to stay busy with the stimulate your senses. You need to stay busy working on self-improvement. So if you're like, man, like even the next black man's power movement, right? They might feel like, no, this is the way. They might say everything I said up here is some bullshit and yada yada. And I just have to be like, take what resonates and leave the rest. Like if he made a good point on something, cool. If I can tell it's coming from an unhealed place, let that shit go, you know, because you're busy enough in your own personal self-development. You're not going to let that stop you from eating well and working out just because somebody said, oh, I think the meat diet's good. The fuck? Maybe for them. Maybe it's working for them. Okay? But if you know damn well you don't need to be on a meat diet because you've already experimented, you've already been improving yourself, you've already seen your own results, then, yeah. 5D and what came with it? Energy. So, period. I just dropped one. Okay, I feel like I could look at this in different ways. Let's say the happy way first. 5D energy and money's coming down because it fell. Like, we about to get some of that divine inheritance. Okay. Okay, keep it up there like that. I also saw it as money's going down. Like, that shit don't, money ain't nothing on some 5D energy. Okay, so, yeah. So just watch your energy though, like, and your thoughts, because in your mindset, it's going to be the it's like the screen that your life is going through. So if you have a hateful mindset, expect to be hated on. Shit, expect to be fucking hated and hate life and hate. My son uses that fucking word a lot. Cannot stand it. Okay, and I try to remind him, like, you are creating your reality. Okay, so you want to, I hate this, and he'd be like, I'm just joking, blah 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 blah. Stop saying that shit. You don't need to hate nothing. Hate something that's terrible. Not your sibling, okay? So yeah. Watch your mouth is what I was trying to, what the point of me, bro. I was like, why am I talking about myself? You need to fix that shit. Same way I would tell my kid, you need to fix the way the fuck you're thinking so that you can stop having experiences that you don't like to make you say hate. Okay? I guess I'm back on this deck again. Cups. Yeah, I'm going to stop it. Cups, it's giving me more, taking me back to the 7 of Cups. Your choices, your energy, where you're going to let your energy flow to. What are you going to pour your energy into? I say pour it back into yourself until you're all filled up, and then let it flow out, and we'll just kind of see what comes, you know? But remember that when you're trying to call in what you want, being grateful for what you already have is, that's an alchemical principle. That's like 101 alchemy. And that also brings us back to our ancestors. You know, we light a candle or pour out some water or some liquor or whatever, however we choose to honor them, right? It's totally fine for it to be unique to you. That's the thing about Hoodoo, is just using what you got, but showing them that's saying gratitude. Thank you. Thank you to the blood. We talking about the blood of Jesus. We know what blood was spilled. We know who got hanged. We have our own people who got hanged. Okay? And they look just like us, who lived and died and fought and sacrificed their own damn dignity to try to go further. You know, and even for white people, I was thinking about too, you know, if we think about like people, oh, they're mixed race. What are we supposed to do with them? Right? You know, and some people, like a mixed, like a mulatto type woman would go and then try to pass for white. And then they get a white husband. And they have some whiter babies. And then they stay white and they get whiter, right? And then they could definitely be part of the, I mean, they're obviously some of the people who consider themselves white today, right? But for surely have that ancestry. And we can think negative, like, she tried to pass for white, she left us, right? But first of all, okay, this was a terrible world we lived in. It wasn't just selfishness, it was self-preservation. And perhaps those people are the ones who see the truth, recognize the truth, and can speak to their own people and say, hey, this white oh, okay, I thought they were calling me. You know, and to help to shut this white supremacy down, or at least put it at a halt until we can get into a safe place, okay? Keep your white supremacy. We don't even give a fuck, okay? You're just not going to be white supremacist against us, okay? Be white supremacist against somebody else, okay? Leave us alone. We've proven ourselves as great, so fuck you, okay? I'm about to wrap this up, but my last thing I wanted to say about white supremacy and how it's a lie, it's a myth, it's not even real. You know, white skin is not more powerful than melanated skin. Okay? And there are spiritual, physical differences. And it has to do with melanin. So the reason why I said that is because that was beaten into our heads. That being black made us stupid. Okay? And more like an animal. And so it's important but that's a lie. And so we know that white supremacy is a lie because that is not the truth. And because they lied about that, and because we know that they fabricated information and put marketing as history, okay, into history books, marketing as into history books, okay, and we know that they are showing right now that they are willing to change history by what the president is doing right now and trying to take things out of the Smithsonian. We know that there's parts of the Grand Canyon we can't go into because they don't want us to see something. We know that they tell lies, is all what I'm trying to say. And that is reason for us to be able to make a case against that and for our sovereignty, because they have not been honest and they've been proven dangerous. So I'm being called. I'm going to go. Peace.